Hello, welcome to Imperfect in an Uncertain World. Resources to help you live your life with authenticity and purpose. I am Vanessa Hurst, a life coach through intuitive connection. And today we're going to talk about compassion and the little points. But before I begin my conversation about this, I want to begin with a Merton quote because I'm not sure that what I'm going to talk about will make sense unless you understand the Merton quote. So, what I will begin by saying is at the center of our being is a point of nothingness, which is untouched by sin and by illusion, a point of pure truth, which is inaccessible to the fantasies of our own mind or the brutalities of our own will. It is like a pure diamond blazing with the invisible light of heaven. It is in everybody. And if we could see it, we would see these billions of points of light coming together in the face and blaze of the sun that would make all the darkness and cruelty of the world vanish completely. I am struck by how, gosh, in the past many years, there have been so many acts of violence, so many terrorist attacks. And it feels to me that a flood of compassion tears fall on these senseless acts of violence and incomprehensible hate. I'm shocked by an act that snuffed out 50 points of nothingness. I know that those points of nothingness, those points of light from New Zealand, have crossed the veil into a new existence. Yet I wonder how each of us, individually and collectively, will meet the challenges represented by death times 50. How will our compassion not only be a healing balm to the world, but be a catalyst for change? And I think that's what's important. How are we going to be the change in the world? Now, I have to admit, I'm a person who always likes to understand why people did what they did. But I have to tell you that for someone who wants to understand the personal suffering that leads to these unconscionable acts, I cannot even ask what the terrorist was thinking. I don't want to know what caused his heart to be crusted by fear and anger and bigotry. Maybe I'm just too fatigued or I don't want to look in the face of evil. Maybe I don't even want to try to understand the act that created the blanket of suffering that threatened to suffocate a peaceful place. You know, Maybe at this point I just want to focus on the resilience and compassion of the Kiwis. So I turn my compassion to those whose lives have been irrevocably changed by the 50 deaths in New Zealand. I'm heartened by the outpouring of care and support that happens moments after the attack and continues to happen even days later. As my compassion spirals into the wisps of suffering caused by this violent act of bigotry, I realize that compassion is the ultimate power, the change agent that can change the world if we choose to act. When I look at violence, what I see is violence is a miasma, a cyclone bomb that wreaks havoc on our individual and collective body, mind, spirit, and heart. And by heart, I mean emotions. I can't help but wonder why we don't realize when we are so adamant about standing our ground that we forget that the ground belongs to all of us. And I wonder, how can we grow a place of welcome amid the growing violence? How can we extinguish the flames of hate and nurture the sparks of love? How can we be compassion's presence in this world gone awry? For me, compassionate action begins by reaching out to family, friends, acquaintances, and even the intimate stranger. First, connect with those who hold our core beliefs. Then join with them to create a world where love is the greeting, the farewell, and every action in between. We set our intent not to get so caught in the minutia of what we want that we miss the potential for real sustained transformation as individuals and as community. Because really, we're in this together, you and I. Unless I can truly see the gap by listening and responding to you, and you hoe a row by listening and responding to me, peace and love cannot bridge our divide. And if this chasm continues to grow, then we're doomed. The violence within us will continue to flare and race across the chasm, laying waste to everything in its path. But I don't believe that's inevitable. I have hope. Continued violence and destruction need not be the ultimate outcome. If we can reach out with love, set aside our judgments, our defenses, truly listen, we can live in a world where the wildfires of violence are contained. I think that they were contained in New Zealand. That's something that we can really set as an example. We cannot change an act of violence after the fact, but we can seed bridges of love and compassion with our points of nothingness that shine from within. I want to thank you for watching this video. Like it, share it with your friends, but most importantly, nurture that little point of nothingness inside yourself so that it can be one of the billions of points of light that can change the world. Unsure of how to begin? As a life coach through Intuitive Connection, I can work with you to bring about transformation in your life, to let's pass those barriers, and to be the person you have always wanted to be the person that you always have been.